Many Pacquiao. Oh man, more news, more rumors on Manny Pacquiao. You know, as far as me, I don't say no confirming, no nothing when it pertains to the guy, just because everything is so all over the place when it comes to this guy and what his next move is. I'm kind of this mindset where it's like, you know what? Just sit back, relax, wait for confirmation, wait for something to be, solid, concrete to come out. Then you go with it. Because at this point, I'm saying nobody knows what the hell that guy's doing, when he's fighting, nothing. That's what I go by when it comes to him. But just a couple of things. First, when it comes to Terrence Crawford, Bob Arum had come out and he said that, oh, they had everything all finalized and that they're just waiting right now to get a financial backer. You know what I mean? I guess to put the money up in order to get the fight going, or investor, which makes absolutely no sense because supposedly he already had the investors before. And the reason why the fight couldn't go down before was because of restrictions, in that country, in Dubai or whatever it is. And that's the reason why the fight didn't happen. Okay, well, if that's the case, then you should already have those financial backers and they should be ready to go, but nothing's happened when it came to that. And one of the things that I also said before is in that situation, it still would make zero sense for Manny Pacquiao to do the fight because he could fight Earl Spence, get, being 100, having his side be 100% completely in control of the fight, not have to deal with Bob Arum at all, and still get that money. Because those quote financial backers would be there because they want Manny Pacquiao to fight. They don't care about Terrence Crawford. They want to see Manny Pacquiao fight. And I'm sure they would be okay with Manny Pacquiao fighting somebody that's been on pay-per-view on multiple occasions and generated tens of millions of dollars, and has had substantially higher gates than Terrence Crawford. I'm sure they would have absolutely no issue with that. And he would not need Bob Arum in order to be able to talk to these people or to get these funds from these people if they ever existed, which they didn't. But if they did, he would still have that available to him. And that whole thing, oh, things were shut down, they couldn't fight, that's BS too, because UFC keeps on having fights down there on a regular basis. So what are you talking about? They keep having fights down there. And if they were going to put they're putting up the money for the funds, then I'm sure they could have a minimum crowd of just, because basically you're just talking about people with a boatload of money, especially if you're talking about princes or sheiks or anything like that, who just themselves want to see the fight, kind of like with the Anthony Joshua fight. There weren't that many people that were actually at that fight when he fought against Andy Ruiz. But it didn't matter because that prince wanted to put up that money, and wanted to floss out, wanted to have the champion hold his kid up in the air and all that other stuff or whatever and make a spectacle in order to get that, and he was willing to put up that money, in order to do that. This would kind of be the same situation, It would be, and if it wasn't, cool. Because I think the UFC, I know they have limited people that are actually in the arena. Cool, let's say they wanted a full, complete arena, and now they're down to do it. If everything's okay now, what is there to talk about? Yeah, here's the money. Boom, let's go. Let's do it. They're not going to all of a sudden say, no, we don't want to do it because a couple of months have passed. Nah, they'll be like, all right, cool, yeah, everything's open now, let's go, let's do it. But it never was available to begin with. It was all BS. Now, the talk now is that, Mikey Garcia, he said that, announcements should be coming soon as far as him taking on Manny Pacquiao. That the fight, pretty much was a done deal last year, but everything got shut down. Pretty much, they couldn't do the fight because of that, because they still want to have the crowds and everything. And that right now, basically, they're trying to finalize this fight. There's a couple of little things to get, ironed out in order to get in order to have the fight, which just makes sense. It's the person that Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight all, from the beginning. He's wanted to fight Mikey. Mikey Garcia had beat Earl Spence. He would have fought Mikey Garcia next. But Mikey Garcia lost the fight. But he's wanted to fight this kid for a long time. So now, and it's a fight that he can win. So, and still get paid his money. He can still get paid his guaranteed $20 million. He can still go on pay-per-view. still generate good pay-per-views. They can have it in Texas, fill up the place in Texas. Mikey's coming up a victory, you know, and it sells. So it works for him, you know. And then later on during the year, what I'm thinking is, then I think he's going to fight Earl Spence in Dallas Stadium later on. And then after that, it's either going to be retirement for Manny Pacquiao, or I believe after that, what he's going to do is he's going to go to the Philippines and he's going to have like one big fight, like a home fight, because he hasn't fought there in forever. But I believe he will have one fight where he fights in front of his people, and as he should. And then after that, I think he's done completely. And he would have caked up. He would have, basically cashed out and made a boatload of money, you know. And because he's working with Al Heyman and not Bob Arum, he's actually going to be able to pocket all of it, you know. And then Al Heyman's also going to show, I'm sure he's showing him how to, invest it properly so he has that money consistently coming for the rest of his life, and he's good. You know, and I still believe that's, possibly what the plan's going to be. You know, Earl Spence fights Ugas, Manny Pacquiao fights Mikey Garcia. Then they both later on in the second half of the year, they have a big, huge, grand fight. Big, huge, grand fight between those two. But we'll see what happens when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know if Manny Pacquiao's going to fight or not. I don't know when he's going to fight. Some people think that he's going to fight in May. Who knows? And I understand this is actually coming from Mikey, and Mikey hasn't said anything like this before. So, and he's not the type of person he ain't no Ryan Garcia. It's Mikey Garcia, not Ryan Garcia. So pretty much most of the time when he starts talking about fighting somebody and fights being done, you can believe him. So because of that, I believe that something is being set up. But things aren't done, though. It's never done till it's done. It's never done until it's done. You could be up to the 99.999% and things fall apart and not happen. We see that happen all the time. So because of that, my mind, process is let's sit back, wait, and see what he does. But I'm sure Mikey Garcia has been sitting on the sideline for a very long time for a reason. For a reason. I believe if this fight, there wasn't a possibility of this fight happening, I believe he would have fought somebody else already. Or he would have had something else already set up. Because he's not going to just sit on the sidelines for no reason. And middle to the end of the year, I don't know about anybody else, but for PBC, looks like they might be having some serious fights. But we'll see how the ball rolls. For now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.